Problem 4, cosine of theta over sine of theta times cotangent squared of theta. We change everything into sines and cosines. Well, the top is just already a cosine, so it's just going to stay there. Maybe we'll get a cosine at the bottom, they'll cancel out. I don't know. Let's see. Sine of theta, well, that's just sine of theta, times, now we got a cotangent. That's the reciprocal of tangent. Okay? So it's like, I'll go ahead and do this. It's 1 over a tangent squared of theta. But what is tangent? Tangent is sine over cosine. So we should really recognize this instead of that. What we really should is this is a reciprocal of tangent. Tangent is sine over cosine. Therefore, cotangent is cosine squared over a sine squared. The only reason I'm doing a squared is because it said it was a squared. If it had just been cotangent of theta, I would have done cosine of theta, sine of theta. So here's what we have. I just sort of blocked that out. I have sine of theta over 1 times a cosine squared of theta and a sine squared of theta. Now remember, I'm going to rewrite this for you. This is cosine of theta all over a sine of theta over 1 times. Cosine squared theta means I have 2 cosines that are being multiplied. So I'm just going to say, hey, that's a cosine of theta and another cosine of theta, just so that you can see it. Sine squared is simply a sine of theta and another sine of theta. Well, notice that sine of theta is going to go away with that guy. And so now what I have is I have a cosine of theta on top. I'm going to put it over 1. I'm going to change this big division bar to multiplication and multiply by the reciprocal of the bottom here. Well, in the bottom you got a cosine over a sine. So the reciprocal would be the sine up top, cosine theta on the bottom. All I did is I flipped this. I changed what we learned back in elementary school. I changed the division to multiplication and flipped the bottom fraction. Sine went up here, cosine went down here. Now notice this cosine, that one cosine and that one cosine go away, and you're left with a sine of theta on top and 1 cosine of theta. Wait a second, that's simply tangent. The final answer to this problem 4 simplifies just to a simple tangent of theta. Can you imagine trying, if you tried like 45 degrees in here, all you'd have to do, all I have to do is really take the tangent of 45. Basically, which is 1, because it's square root of 2 divided by 2 divided by square root of 2 divided by 2. Same thing. But anyway, this is our answer. That's what it's going to simplify to for problem number 4.